Hi, I'm Words here, and it's late on a Tuesday, and I'm making Thursday. I have not had much time to make these lately, um, but that's okay. I'm excited about what I'm making right now, what I'm working on, so that's okay. It's not like I'm gonna stop doing these or anything. I don't really care at all. You don't have to watch them. It's okay. Don't feel obligated. I'm just gonna keep making them anyway. So here's what I want to do. I decided that I want to make this level bigger. Right now it's too small, and I'm going to show you how to do that. I haven't really been showing anything lately at all. So I'm going to dick around with this a little because I haven't used it in a while. Well, I've used it recently, but I don't remember how it works exactly. I think I might be able to make it so that... Let's make this visible when room starts. Okay, making views is what I'm going to do. I'm going to make a view. So I'm going to have the camera following the character around. That's the character. That's that object right there. I'm circling it because you can't possibly find that, can you? You can't make that out. And I'm gonna actually make it so the camera, the room, the view, as they call them, it's gonna follow the character around, and hopefully I'll be able to make a bigger level like that. Yeah. So I'll just say that. I have no idea whether that's gonna work or not. I really don't. But that's okay. Done. I'm not even gonna change it. Okay, that's what I thought would happen. Good. Okay, this is good. Well, it's technically bad, but it's technically good. There's other things that I want to worry about here, but we're not gonna worry about them yet. Oh my. Okay. Anyway, I'm gonna fix this. Okay. I want to make a bigger room. Is in fact what I want to do. So we're gonna make it so that the room is longer. Right now it's 640 by 480. I don't want to make it any taller, really. I don't want to dick with that too much just yet. We're going to make it 10,000. Not 1,000, 10,000. I'm deadly serious. It's huge, but I know that seems ridiculously big, but I'm probably going to create arbitrary boundaries, so that's actually an arbitrary number as far as we're concerned. That should make it so you can actually follow the character. Oh yeah, I forgot that I did this. Okay, I have to do something else here. Oh. Here's something else you have to remember about views. You can set this thing called HBOR. HBOR. That's the border. That's the border around the character. When you hit that, it pushes it. I don't actually know what this other one is. Not a clue. Maximal horizontal. Oh right, I remember this. This says it so it can go infinite speed. Yeah. See, so you can make it so that I actually like setting this. Let's set it to like. It depends on what the character's speed is. I think because if your character moves too fast and you set that too low, you'll end up not moving the screen. So the max speed is it can go higher than that if you're going downhill. So let's set it to like 50. You'll see why. No, you won't actually, because that's gonna be dumb. We're gonna make that -1 means infinite, so we're gonna leave it -1. That's fine for now. I'm gonna make the border a lot smaller. Right now, the port is set to 640 by 480. That's fine. That's the actual size of the view. So I'm gonna make it so that it's something closer to that because I want it to be. It's actually what you have to do is you have to set it to. I think it's like this. So we're gonna set it to like something a little bigger. So we're gonna say like. Let's make it a lot bigger. Closer to like the middle. Let's set it to like 256. No, that's too big. I don't know. Let's say let's try that. Let's do 56, 256. I don't know. This is just dicking around. Like I said, if I had been thinking, I'd actually played around with some other options for some other things, but okay, there you go. Let's see, now the level, it's a little better. I'd like it to be different than that, but whatever. And I actually made the level kind of big because of that. Because I actually used the room's size to determine that. Okay, so that works. I wanted to do that for a reason though. I actually wanted to make it so that this whole thing was a lot more complicated, and I'm going to probably cut to do that. I want to make the whole level. Let's make it in Paint. Let's do that. Let's do it. Let's do it. Right now, it's got like, here's the left wall, and it's got like, God damn it, and it's got like a bit over here. So let's make it flat at first, I want to make it a bit like, I want like a ledge at some point. So I'll make it like that, and then like that, straight wall like that, and then like that. I want to make sure I have a nice steep, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually probably, I'm going to add in a steep bit. And that steep bit will actually be adjustable, so I can test out like the physics. But we're going to do it sort of like that, I think, is what I'm going to end up doing. Here's the right wall. So this will tell me how many points I need, how many nodes. So let's see. Here's the first node. That's a wall, and this node, that's a floor. All the way through is floor, except for this guy right here. That's our wall for testing walls. Let's see. So I'm going to go ahead and do that for the level. And yeah. Okay. So here's what I've ended up with. I actually made the level a little smaller because I ended up just going ahead and using the room width to determine the size of the level. And this is fun. I made this little spike here. I can actually change its size to play around with some of the physics. So we set it really low. It's just this little thing we can just do. And actually having it that much of a spike kind of really shows how awful the physics are right now, because it just doesn't work very well. None of it does, really. You can make it really spiky. And we can see, you just shoot up it kind of, and then you fall back down really quick, especially if you're going fast. See, yeah. Doesn't really work. No, it doesn't really, does it? There's all sorts of problems with it, and I need to completely change how that's calculated. So you're welcome for the distraction, for the you're welcome to have the little change of pace there, but we're going to go back to this sort of stuff now again. Now that I have it set up like that. There's some other things I need to change. The first thing I'm actually going to address is the fact that right now, you can't tell, again, it's something that's got to do with like how I'm pressing these buttons. As soon as I hit that wall, I'm pressing right, and you'll notice I'm not immediately moving. It's because momentum is not destroyed upon hitting a wall. And I need to do that. That's the first thing I'm going to do here, because it's the simplest thing, and it's something I need to fix, and I hadn't fixed it yet. And now it'll be fixed. I would find where I put that. This is why you comment, but I don't. There should be a place that has something to do with hitting walls. It might be... Right, I remember now. Way up here should say... Someplace it'll say x plus equals speed. Here it is. And what it's doing is someplace around here it should be saying, no, wait, you're hitting a wall, stop that. But I don't see it. Doop-de-doo. Okay, there it is. It snaps you to the wall here. This is the code. This says that if you're outside of the wall, if you're trying to move towards a wall and you hit the wall, it'll actually snap you out. Which actually, come to think of it, might be kind of... I haven't tried this. Let me try something really quick. This is a bit of debugging that I'm going to be doing right here. Okay, here's a wall. And usually when you kind of slide out of it, it's kind of hard to jump now. You kind of slide out of it, but I want to see what happens if you kind of press towards it right then. But it's hard to hit right on it. Oh. I need a taller wall. I'm going to make my wall taller. I don't remember which node that is actually. Wait, it should be equal. Let's find my wall. Here it is. Let's make him taller. Way tall. Yeah, really tall. Let's give him another good, like, 100 pixels on there. Doop. Boop, 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 boop. There he is. That's a wall. That's a manly wall. And I can't get back up it. Fuck me. Oh well. Doo-doo-doo. Fixing it again. Where'd he go? There he is. Let's give him another 20 pixels. See if that's enough so I can get back up. The idea is I want to make it tall enough that I can slide down the side of it and press left when I do. It's hard to it's hard to tell. I think it's about the way I've got it set up. I don't think it's actually possible to do what it is I'm thinking of. You kind of get pushed off too quickly, which is fine. Okay, it was a problem I was kind of considering, but it's not actually a problem that actually happens. So that's nice. Cool. You're welcome. You're welcome. That was fun. That was dandy. That was all sorts of fun for you guys. Let's see. Okay. What I wanted to fix right now, I want to make it so it destroys its momentum upon hitting a wall, because right now it doesn't work. And if you hit a wall, especially going at high speeds, you'll actually end up you'll end up with this wonderful, incredible amount of speed that you have to negate by pressing the other direction for a long while. And in theory, your max speed should make that not possible. But even then, I don't know, something about like the way the code's set up, you have infinite speed when you're falling down a steep enough hill. It just doesn't work. I think it's because of how I've got this set up with slowing down with the max slow thing. I'm gonna try to fix that. I'm gonna remove that later. Don't worry about it. Actually, I'm gonna remove it soon, possibly now. Well, first, before I do that, this is when you hit a wall. So we're gonna say it knows that you've hit a wall. So speed. Actually, come to think of it, no, yeah. I'm gonna say less than or equal to here. That way, if you it's already set to the other way there anyway. But that way, if you hit the wall, even if you hit it perfectly somehow, for whatever reason, like the planets align and you add exactly enough space to hit the wall, it will still negate the speed in spite of not actually needing to snap you to the wall because you haven't passed it yet. So we're gonna say speed equals 0. That'll get rid of your momentum there, and you won't be. That should fix that problem I was just having that you couldn't see. So I'm going to show you that problem that you can't see again, and it will be gone. But you won't be able to tell because you couldn't see it. You're welcome. So in theory, yeah, it fixed it. It fixed it. You can't tell, but it fixed it. Because now I can move immediately from the wall because it's no longer doing the thing that it was doing. There's a bunch of other things I want to fix. I think you can move around too easily in the air right now, and I definitely need to increase gravity. Wait. Did that just do something weird? No, it didn't. Sorry, debug. Yeah, see, did you see that? Maybe you just lost all your momentum right as you hit the ground. Interesting, okay. Maybe that makes sense. There's a lot of these things. I'm going to have to strip out, like, almost all of this, because I want to do it completely differently than when I'm doing it. I've got this weight thing that I'm not sure I'm happy with. I have all this weird stuff going on in here, and what I wanted to do is I wanted to in a more simple way. Right now, it's trying to, I'm trying to basically emulate the forces involved here, because what you got is you've got gravity. And gravity says, okay, go that way. And your character says, no, I want to go this way. Which will eventually mean going this way. But then there's one more force, and this is the important one. There's this one force called friction. And friction says, no, stay still. And that's what's important about friction. I wasn't thinking about it correctly before. And this harkens back to all those physics lessons I didn't pay any attention to back in high school. But friction says stay still, gravity says go down, your character says go up. So these are all the things that are fighting with one another. But when I think of friction in this way, it actually makes more sense. Well, what I need to do is basically, it's fine actually technically the way it is, it's saying if this angle here is steep enough, that's when you actually have to worry about it. That's when it's saying, okay, well, which is true, because even if I set it up to work like that, even though I set it up to work like this, where it actually puts in that information, you're still going to end up with a harder to deal with, a more difficult to actually to change, essentially the same thing, where you'll eventually, in the end, what you'll have is a maximum speed at which you can fall down a hill, and a angle at which that begins to occur, where if you make it so that gravity has to overcome friction. I can just what I've got it now is I say, okay, here's what it is. Here's that angle at which gravity overcomes friction, and here's the speed at which you move when you're basically standing on a wall. If you're somehow were to be able to stand on a wall, you speed down the hill at this speed. That's what it says. But I'm not sure that that's not working at all, really. I mean, it's more difficult to tweak than I thought it would be, and it might actually be that the way that I thought would be more complicated, actually simulating all these things, might be the less complicated thing. I'm not really sure, but it's certainly the more fun thing, maybe. I don't know. So I'm going to have to completely rip a lot of this stuff out. Yeah. I don't know, I guess I don't really have to show that, but I'll try to talk about stuff again. We'll go through the whole song and dance where I sit here and try to speak while I work and end up not being able to do it, probably. I'll look at this a little and try to talk about it. How's it that? Okay, so here's where we've got, let's start at the top. Okay, so it says, as you all know, because I know how much you just love this, and you definitely aren't playing games on your phone or whatever while you're watching this. All right, so your character's on the ground, and you're on a slope of some sort. This determines what sort the slope is, whether it's this way or that way, and then this determines the angle of the slope. And if the angle is greater than this slide angle, then your speed increases more if it's more of a steep angle, and less if it isn't much of a steep angle at all. And then there's this little Boolean down here I set to try to fix something. I think I ended up not using it, but it indicates whether or not you were on a slope, I guess is what it was supposed to be for. And then it sets your weight, which is well, it's based on the angle of the slope, and that's what's going to affect your maximum speed. And yeah, it does the same thing for the other one. And then, as you press in a direction, it's going to move you in that direction more quickly the longer you press it. That's the momentum-based movement. And it's actually doing all the tests for this is the weight where it's adding in the weight based on and it's got to do with I was trying to make this work, and I kept screwing it up. I think it works now, at least in theory, really in practice, but it works exactly how I thought it would, but it doesn't really work. It's not enough. No matter what I set it to, it just doesn't quite work right. Not quite what I was expecting. So I'm gonna rip that out. Yoink, boosh. Let's see. Right now, what it does is, if you're on the ground, if your speed is less than your negative max, blah blah blah, we're gonna fix that. We're gonna delete. There we go. Now, right now it says it actually it has this max slow thing where you actually you slow down essentially to your maximum speed if you're over your maximum speed, and it's surprising how much that screws things up. So I don't want that anymore. What we're going to do is we're going to change it back to snapping to your max speed, because the idea was as you fall down this slope, the idea was you'd be able to press the left button and keep going this way, and your maximum speed would then slow down to your new maximum speed. So right now, while you're going down the slope, you can go really, really fast because you're down a slope, and you would hit this flat bit, and your max speed would fall, and so instantly, and without that code, you would actually kind of just suddenly stop moving quite so fast. I actually like it that way. I like the idea of that. But it doesn't. It creates a problem, and I'm going to come right back to this. It creates a problem with different, like where you have slopes that connect. It screws up with this sort of thing, where like you're coming down this one fast, then you hit this one. You're supposed to be slower, but like it's also trying to pull you this way, and your max speed is also trying to. You're over your max speed, so you're also being pulled that way. I don't know. It seems like it seems like it ought to be self-correcting somehow. Like I feel like what I ought to do is simply make it so that, oh, I know how to do this. Okay, this is my idea. And again, I'm constantly just throwing out theories here. Maybe next episode we'll actually start to actually get into some of this. I'm going to start, maybe between episodes here, I'm going to start ripping out some of that code and start like adding some of it in. Not much on the adding, hopefully, so you can actually see what I'm doing. But gonna rip out all that code. I'm gonna start putting in the rest of the code. Next episode, we're actually gonna, hopefully, what we'll start to do is actually making some of this really work. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna rip all of the out. I'm just gonna delete it. I'm gonna start from scratch. I'm gonna delete all the code I have from it trying to make this happen the way I had been. I'm gonna try again with simpler, but it's gonna try to simulate the situation where it's gonna say, okay, if I'm actually going to, eventually I'm going to give each node its own friction. So you'll be able to say, you know, this node is less frictious, because that's a word, is this node has less friction, let's say, you know, than this node, and maybe like you're oh, I can walk right up that, that's fine, because, you know, I've, oh, well, actually that's different, and oh, I forget I said, okay, let me try this again. Friction, as in something's attempt to stop you in your place. Like if it was higher here, then you'll fall down this slope more quickly than if it were lower, is the idea. And I'm going to actually eventually do that, but gravity will be set. It'll be set in stone. I'm not going to increase it actually because it's not big enough. I'm going to do that right now actually. That was something I was going to do with this episode, but to fix jumping a little bit, I'll tweak that right now, because that's a simple thing I'm going to do in the next episode. We'll get into what I'm talking about here. I also want to change it. What I'm going to do is, it's so simple, I don't know why I didn't think of this before. I do kind of want your, I want your speed to degrade over time if you like, oh, it depends, you know, that's the problem. But like, I want it to be, the way I want it to be conditional. And, because like, what I want it to be is, your max speed, I don't want it. I want it to be like, if you're coming down this way and you come back up this way, rather than changing it, rather than lowering your speed as you come up the steep slope, because your max speed going down this is faster. Your max speed is higher. Going down that and going back up this, it's lower again. Now what I had been doing was, you come down this way and then you come up this way, and gravity is pulling you down this way anyway. And you're trying to come up this, and your max speed is now lower. And what I'd also been lowering your max speed. Now I'm going to change that. I'm going to make it so that instead you cannot increase above the maximum, but I'm not going to lower it exactly. What I'm going to do is, and it kind of depends. And here's the problem: like in this situation, going from this slope to this slope, I want it to be. I don't want it to try to affect the max speed, because it's going to be affected anyway. And I'm trying to think of a way I can do this. And then with this, you know, like where it's the same direction. When you're going this way, you're going really fast, and you're going slower. But it's not like if I don't slow you down, there's no reason that you wouldn't slow down. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to make friction affect your max, be what affects your max speed. So it's going to be like, essentially, it's going to have to, I don't know how it's going to work, but it's going to have to work. I know, okay, in theory, since you're pressing right, it won't actually be able to increase your speed over your maximum speed, right? In theory, friction will therefore, if I actually simulate friction and actually put it in so it calculates it and says, okay, this is the friction of this area, and it's going to affect your speed, so your speed's going to be going down. This should work. And in theory, and gravity won't be overcoming friction. Gravity, like, is let's say, you know, whatever it is, whatever number it is, has to be greater than whatever friction is. So, and actually, and you'd think, oh well, gravity's set in stone. Well, it is, but the actual effect of gravity is is dampened by an angle, by a slope. So like like when you're jumping up in the air and you're up in the air, you're at the top of your jump, your gravity is at its maximum, and over time it'll make you fall faster and faster and faster towards the ground. At the top of a slope, gravity is essentially, it's trying to pull you this way, but the angle of this object is actually lowering. Like gravity is a little less, essentially. So it actually, you don't have as much gravity to contend with. Friction, on the other hand, is set in stone. So whatever the friction is of this thing, the higher the angle, the more gravity will be able to affect it. And once it gets up to like a really high angle, you have all the gravity will be pulling you back down towards Earth, and less based on the friction of the object of the surface. But that's how it's supposed to work. I've gotten through all that little word soup there, or whatever you want to call it, that attempt at speaking. But anyway, I was actually going to go ahead and I was going to fix some of this. Right now, gravity is just not very high. It's 2. Let's increase that, and let's go ahead and say jump speed. It's 26. Why is it 26? Let's just make it. It's got to make it divisible by. Well, we don't, do we? Well, we do. Let's make. Oh, I don't even know. I'm gonna make it 6. I'm gonna make this like, fuck me, like 40. Who cares? I make it big because I want to test this out. And also, right now you're able to move. Your air add is 2. It seems tiny, doesn't it? Ah, it seems tiny. I'm gonna change that. As well. Oh, there we go. Well, it's a little better. I don't know. It's a little too much, really. But it's feeling a little less floaty, but you're not quite able to. Oh, you're not really able to. It's not a useful jump. It doesn't feel like you'll be able to make a clear a platform. You won't be able to clear a hole or whatever it is you need to jump over. It's getting there. Oh, it's just it's all just It's just now it's all floaty again. It's got to do with partly has to do with the maximum speed of the character. How quickly you can move. Let's increase that. Let's increase that. Let's increase the max speed to something a lot bigger. I'll lower the max. Well, we'll increase the max speed, actually. Max airspeed increase. So increase the gravity maybe a little more because it's a little floaty again. That's a little better. Yeah, that's all. You can kind of control it. It's going to be something I'm going to tweak over time. It depends on how I end up making the game, really. Because if I want to put in lots of platforming bits, maybe it'll be more important that you have a longer jump. But yeah, that's okay. That's okay for now. We might tweak it more, but I wanted to get it. That was bugging me mostly. I really wanted to fix this episode because it was bugging me. That's really all it is. But I can't get up that again. Anyway, next time I'll be able to get over this. So this video is over, and I'm going to next time definitely be doing physics things again, and it's going to be better the physics things that I'm going to be doing. Oh my god, this stupid wall. Okay, there it is. Subscribe if you like jumping over walls. Like if you like jumps that don't suck. Look at those jumps. Those jumps do not suck. Oh yeah. That's why you should like. And then you should watch this next episode that's going up right now. Oh, I don't know why I said that. Annotations places, probably. I should do that, actually. Whatever. I'll get around to it. Next time. Bye.